Why are we in an RV? Because our economy sucks.
Check out the Sunchaser Schoolie. Come on in. Welcome into our entryway. This is our office space. This is most of the time we're doing our work and social media. Then into our kitchen, very roomy, where we make all of our scrumptious little meals. Start to sleep. Back of the bus into our bathroom.
Look at that. That's a lot of space. That's a lot of space, and I bet you, no, it costs much less than a house. That has to be less than $100,000 right there. Take a look at that. Less than 100 grand for all of that in a mobile vehicle. What's going on, guys? It's your boy Andy Matrix, and look, the housing market, it's so expensive now. Nobody can afford a house. As a matter of fact, I think like builders, they're not even building single family homes. They're just building apartments. It's just all apartments now. Luxury apartments, because they can't build, cheap, affordable ones for some reason. But people are looking for other more affordable ways, like living in their car, living in a van, or an RV. Check this out, man. This is really cool. I actually think this is really cool. So let's go ahead and check out our next video.
Why are we in an RV? Because our economy sucks. My husband and I were both working full-time jobs last year, and he was working night shifts. I was working day shifts because somebody needed to be available to get the kids to and from school. So that kind of lifestyle just wasn't working for us. It was so difficult, and even us both working full-time, we were not making enough to make ends meet.
Nobody's making enough.
We had a 2,400 square foot house. We absolutely loved it, but we decided to list it and sell it to use the proceeds to buy an RV to live in until we kind of got back on our feet. And my husband had gone through a rough patch of losing his jobs because he was in mortgages, and when the economy went the way that it did with housing, the housing market sucked, so he lost his job, or then he wasn't making sales and mortgages, so it just wasn't a good situation for us. So that's what we had to do. We sold our house, we bought an RV with the proceeds, and then we had leftover money as a cushion. So now, with my husband and I and our 3 kids, we're staying in our RV until we can save up enough money to buy a house in cash.
To buy a house with cash, and that's not a bad idea. Yeah, I mean, there's like many ways to save money. In this case, and a lot of people, they start living in an RV, and then they really like it, and then they don't buy a house. So, but then again, they do have 3 kids, so you can't raise kids in an RV. Not everybody does that, I don't know, but it is maybe for a few years, it will be like a decent option. So let's go ahead and move on.
I'm on a street here in northeast Calgary where a small community of people has sprung up, living in RVs, living in campers and trailers and truck campers, all here for the same reason, which is the rising cost of living. So do you stay in the same spot, or do you find that people want to move around different parts of the city?
We tend to stay right here around Deerfoot City because this is a heavy trailer and truck squats a lot, so we tend to stay here. But a lot of people do move around other places.
Yeah, well, let's take a look inside. So this is home?
For the time being, yeah. Till we can afford to do an upgrade.
How did you end up here living in a trailer in Calgary?
I got laid off due to shortage of work, and that's when we decided, I'm entitled to EI, make the move out here because living on EI is cheaper to live out here than it is in BC.
The situations that have brought you here might not be positive, but you're finding positives in it, right?
That's the thing. Like, I've met a lot of people that have gone from living in apartments and houses, and they're just like, they can't afford the rents. They get into living in their vehicles, and they seem to find it a little easier. Some people, they kind of travel around and they find friends, and then all of a sudden they've grown into a little community, and everybody's watching out for each other, and it's a life that not a lot of people could adjust to, but some people are adjusting no problem. For myself,
Yeah, and honestly, building communities, that's one of the best things. I think that's one of the main things that we have lost, especially in this digital age, where like, yeah, you have like online communities, but like those communities don't always meet in the real world. I'm talking about like real life communities, where you live, right? Where you live. We don't have that anymore. And I think part of it is because of the internet. So especially, to be able to afford to live, it's nice to have like neighbors that are, that help you out when you're in need of something. Maybe you're a little bit short on food, and the neighbors lend you some. You pay them back later. We need communities. We really need communities, but this generation is not about that. All right.
You know what they say about assuming?
Wait, hold on. So here the comment says if you can afford a fifth wheel with slides out in the truck to pull it, you can afford housing. You say you're the one who's delusional.
What that makes you? Though. So I can afford a fifth wheel with slide outs and the truck to pull it. I should be able to afford housing. And I'm delusional. Let me say this a little slower because some of you aren't getting it. We sold our house because taxes kept rising. We used the proceeds to purchase an RV so that we had a living situation that we could afford. And we don't have a truck to pull it because we're stationary. We don't travel with it. We just live in it. No truck to pull it. But I'm delusional. Some of y'all are so quick to assume things, and it really just makes you look dumb.
Yeah, it's true. So there's people where like the taxes keep rising. Like if you have a house, you own property, you gotta pay, property taxes on it, right? And every year the taxes keep rising and rising and rising. And then on top of the mortgage, on top of house repairs, on top of everything else that you gotta do to your, with your house, all the house expenses, right? So they figured it's better to just sell the house. Live in an RV is cheaper, like 5 times cheaper, and we can save more money. Never ever listen to critics. Like, do whatever is best for your financial future, right? Never listen to people that think that think that the old conventional way that's obviously is not working anymore.
Highway rest areas have become much more than a temporary stop.
I am at a point in my life where I'm considering doing what these people are doing. I'm considering buying an RV and just parking it somewhere and paying the monthly tax or the yearly tax and just living a nomad life, because the cost of living in Canada is just outrageous. Like there was this one guy I was looking at who was Canadian who bought 2 RVs, one in Florida and one in Canada. Mm-hmm. And when it's really cold, he would go to the RV in Florida and he lived there for 6 months. And then when it got warm in Canada during the springtime, he would come back and stay in the RV in Canada for 6 months, and he would just work remotely. Now, granted, he doesn't have children and stuff like that, and he's a single individual, but man, you have to come up with some innovative ways to survive in this country and this economy.
Yeah, and it's really bad in Canada, especially. It's being poor in Canada is difficult because, well, in America, there's a lot of warm areas. You can live in your car, like in maybe Texas, in a decently warm area. But in Canada, it's cold most of the year. So it's kind of uncomfortable living in an RV or a car, So it's being poor in Canada is very uncomfortable due to the weather. It's not that easy. So be thankful that you're in America in these situations. But hey, man, everybody's trying to do their best to survive. If you see somebody in need, try to help them. I don't know, buy them some food or something, whatever they need. Because in times like these, if I was in a bad situation, I would like for somebody to help me too. So anyways, whatever your thoughts are, make sure to comment below, like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell for future notifications. It's your boy, Andy Matrix. Everybody, Godspeed.